So the other day I made a survey on my Twitter to see what type of videos people would like to see next. I was unsure of what to make, and I wanted to break up the gameplays a little bit and have some videos where I help people improve, as well as some videos that inform people of the changes that have been made to the game. And this is largely because I wanted to vary my content. I don't want to stray from Rainbow Six too much, because I absolutely love the game and I enjoy making content for it. But now, roaming is something that's become a very common tactic in Siege, and a lot of people employ it, especially in Ranked, and Casual is just casual. I don't know what to say about that. And I know a lot of people say that Rainbow Six has lost its Siege. Insert little hand, bunny ears gesture. I'm doing it, but you can't see. And I think that's largely because of the amount of roamers in the game and how effective it's become. Roaming can be incredibly effective, like I just said, and the defenders have a lot of tools at their disposal to do it effectively. Pulse and Gavera being the main culprits. I won't go too in depth on Pulse and just talk about the roamers as a whole, since I made a video on how to counter Pulse. So if you want to see that, I'll leave a link in the description. But with that being said, countering roamers involves a lot of map knowledge and knowing where they like to hide. The most common roaming spot and my favourite gadget, the Claymore. Well, there is more to it than just laying claymores, but they help a lot with covering your back. A good place to start is with your drone. If you're against a team that really likes to roam, then droning them can be a good way to sniff them out. Once you do find them, don't mark them, because if you're talking with your teammates, you can just tell them, because they'll know when you've found them, and a roamer relies on you not knowing where they are. So something I like to do is when you're driving your drone past a doorway or a hallway, and you don't directly look at the enemy when you see them, you can make it look like you didn't see them in the first place and just carry on driving. Because most of the time they won't move and be like, alright, the drone didn't see me, I'll stay where I am and get the drop on them when they come past. So what you can do is, once you've drove X amount of distance away from the enemy, leave your drone where it is, sneak up on them and kill them, because like I said, most of the time they won't reposition. Another tip with a drone is to use it to cover your back and leave it behind you, either at a door or a corridor, and then check it occasionally, or have a dead teammate use it. Preferably have a dead teammate use it, or push up with a teammate, so there's a pair of you, wait in a room, one of you go on the drone, the other one watch the hallway in front of you whilst you look at the drone for a little bit, and then if no one's coming, you can move on, and if someone is coming, quickly to get off the drone and wait for them to come through the room, and they'll be very surprised and probably call hacks. Mostly they'll call hacks, especially if you're on PC, everyone's apparently a hacker. So the second tip I've got for you is taking the least direct route. Now, there is really not much to say about this, and there isn't much to it, so if you take the most direct, predictable route to the objective, the one that most teams take, which is just straight towards the objective room, or for example on plane, if they're in luggage hold, and you just go from the front end of the plane and keep peeking down that hallway taking shots, then you're going to get flanked. Most teams will expect you to do that. So with that being said, take a less predictable route to the objective. So if the objective is on the bottom floor, you go from the top, or if it's on the top floor, you go from the bottom. Or if the map is longer than it is taller, for example, plane, or the map consulate that has multiple floors to it but is a very long map at the same time, you can go from the other end of the building and push towards the objective room instead of going from the bottom pushing upwards. As long as you're not taking the direct route, you're safer, if anything. But with that being said, if you're fighting against roamers, you're more likely to encounter them if you're going the less direct route, but they probably won't expect you to do it. And roamers more often than not try to pincer you in, sort of. If you're going like directly to the objective room, they kind of like to come down behind you, and half the time won't expect you to come from behind them. So you become the roamer, essentially. Lastly is the operators. There's not many that are actually designed to counter roamers. IQ is the obvious one because she counters pulse. But believe it or not, Capital is really good, and Fuse can be good. And you may be wondering, how on earth is Fuse good at countering roamers? And it comes down to being creative with his cluster charges, which you can use to flush a roamer out of a room, or if you're very skillful, you can bait a roamer into it by pre-planting a cluster charge, letting the roamer see you and backing off until they're close enough to the cluster charge, and then detonate it. This works better with a shield when playing as Fuse because, for whatever reason, players get very confident and will chase you when you're using a shield and trying very, very hard to kill you, which I don't understand, because a good shield user can destroy you sometimes, especially if they're using flashbangs. But what you want to do is take advantage of their eagerness to kill you and lure them in range of your cluster charge. You want to pre-plant the cluster charge as well, by the way, and because you don't want to run off and be like, alright, I'm going to plant this because they'll just kill you. So pre-plant it like at the top of some stairs, slowly pull them up to the stairs, and then detonate it. And I also mentioned Capital. And the reason for this is because he's good at countering roamers by denying an entryway to them. Now, the way you do this is obviously using his crossbow. Most people like to kill people using the crossbow, but it is good at. I'm not saying it's not. I absolutely love using it for that reason as well. And what you do with this is, if you know someone is pushing up behind you and they've already made themselves known, you could fire this like a doorway, and passing through it will kill them, so they're not going to do it. So this is good at cutting them off, and not allowing them to reach their teammates to back them up. So you want to use it to prevent a flank and, like I said, cut them off. Other operators such as Twitch, Thatcher, Thermite and Glaz have recently become much better at preventing roamers from flanking thanks to the addition of claymores. Now these are basically mini nukes and are the best deterrent to roamers. Now they're not overpowered, the range on them is short, and you can see them easily because they have 3 bright red lasers pointing outwards from the front of the claymore. And more importantly, there is a do not eat sign on the back, so don't eat it, you'll have explosive diarrhea or something. Plus explosives aren't exactly a good diet. It's worth noting that these are designed to kill light armoured and medium armoured operators, so it won't kill Rook or Doc, for example, since they're heavily armoured, which I like since they're specifically tailored to taking out operators such as Valkyrie, Caveira and Pulse, which are the roamers, of course. So it's not going to kill Rook and stuff like that, so people won't be yelling, oh, it's overpowered. I have noticed it downs them, but I think they were already hurt. I think it just puts you on low health if you're a heavily armoured operator. Now there are other factors such as not spreading your team too thinly when playing against Caveira, because you're bound to get interrogated, and listening out for sounds, but I'm not going to cover each and every sound in the game. I spoke a lot about it in my top 5 tips for beginners video that I made last week. If you'd like to check that out, I'll leave a link in the description for it. But I think that covers everything. Like I said earlier, a lot of it comes down to map knowledge and experience. That's not something I can give you in a video, and all I can give you are some tips on how to best counter them with the tools that are available to you. But thanks for watching, guys. I hope you found the video helpful. If you did enjoy it, leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more Rainbow Six Siege content. And I'll see you in the next one. Yeah, keep him there then.